Can you tell me what's happening in Homs? Have we made any progress? Is the ICRC able to get into Homs today?
The ICRC and the Syrian Arab Red Crescent are still negotiating with the Syrian authorities and the opposition for a renewed access and a renewed evacuation operation in Baba Amr in Homs. We're still waiting to see if this will yield any concrete results.
What about the Western journalists who are trapped there? Have you had any contact with them? Is there any progress in evacuating the Western journalists and the bodies of those who died last week?
The journalists had refused to be evacuated back on Friday by the Syrian Arab Red Crescent. The ICRC and the Syrian Arab Red Crescent are pursuing their discussions and negotiations with the Syrian authorities and members of the opposition to organize a new evacuation operation in Baba Amr. And the point is to be able to evacuate the seriously wounded, ill, those who need to be taken to the closest medical facility. This includes women, men, children, and the journalists.
There was some discussion that the journalists were suspicious of the Syrian Arab Red Crescent. Can you comment on that?
The ICRC has been working all along with the Syrian Arab Red Crescent volunteers. They've been working round the clock to organize life-saving activities in the different affected areas. We cannot do anything without the volunteers. It's a very important network in Syria, and they've been really working hard. They've lost their Secretary General, they've lost a volunteer in the line of duty, so we need to be able to work with them. And this criticism that we're hearing here and there is making their work and our work much harder.
There's fighting in other parts of the country. Have you been able to do anything there to assist people who are suffering?
Today, the ICRC and the Syrian Arab Red Crescent teams have reached Hama. They have food for around 12,000 people. They have blankets, hygiene kits. The food should last for 1 month. We hope that the distributions will be able to start very soon.
What news on this humanitarian pause that ICRC has been trying to negotiate for several days now?
This 2-hour humanitarian pause that should take place on a daily basis is vital. Until now, we haven't received any answer from the Syrian authorities, but this appeal for a 2-hour halt in the fighting still stands. The ICRC and the Syrian Arab Red Crescent need to be able to evacuate people safely, and without this pause in the fighting, things are very difficult on the ground.